Yeah, so let me set some preface up for everyone of what I'm trying to do here, what the purpose is. Just kind of a few things. I feel like we have something really fascinating going on right now with vibe coding and everyone's ability, whether they know it or not, to participate and basically like unlock creativity for themselves in terms of building apps. I think that people don't understand that you don't have to know how to write code anymore to write apps. And that's pretty sick, actually. Like, I have an experience, I have a bunch of experience being a product person who did not write a lot of code. And I've been able to create very like new, interesting, and kind of like discrete, simple things. Um, very easily with Cursor and Claude and things like that. And so just to like again kind of set up how I'm thinking about this, I want to help people learn how to vibe code. I'm also the co-founder of Ethos, a product that we're building right now that I think is really interesting and compelling to build on. So I want to help people kind of see how they could build on Ethos as well. And then yeah, like my time on Time Fun is goes 100% back to charity. Like I have zero vested interest in making any money off of this stream. All of the fees I've ever earned, I've always bought back my own time here. And yeah, things like tips, like cause tips just now, they all go back to charity. I'm not looking to make a name for myself as a streamer. I'm looking to solve problems for my business, which in an interesting way that people haven't really explored yet. So my hope is that you can learn something, whether it be how to vibe code, how a vibe coding setup works. If you're interested in building something on Ethos, giving you an opportunity to understand how the APIs work and what APIs you need and how easy it is to build something. As well as just helping out some friends at Time Fun who have shipped this awesome streaming feature today. Very much aligned with kind of how I think about the future of Web3. And I think tokenized time is a very interesting concept. So anyways, I want to jump into it and let's just move some stuff around here and get you set up with my setup. And let's go with this, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, cool. So everything that we are going to do, hopefully you don't see time fun in that. I don't think you do. Everything that we're going to do today, ideally, what I want to do is just build an app, something that's easy to build with you guys. Again, we're going to use Ethos as kind of the platform for it. So we'll be either leveraging Ethos data and the scores, the credibility scores that we have in Ethos somehow, and using some simple like deployment infrastructure so I can set things up and let people play around with it. Over the past week or two, I've been doing a ton of vibe coding, creating these kind of simple apps, and really excited to kind of show like how I do that, what my workflow is. And again, just kind of like make sure that people understand that the barrier of entry to something like this is like zero. If you don't know how to write code, you're going to be totally fine. And so the setup that I always start with is Cursor. Specifically, there's been an improvement in Cursor in the past couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, where we've got access to Claude 4. And Claude 4 really enables us to build all kinds of crazy things. It's like significantly better than 3.5 or 3.7, the past models that Claude presented. And so it'll be really it makes things much easier. It can do things with autonomy and agency because it's an agent. And so when you describe something, you say, I want to build this thing, or I want to build that thing, it can actually do a lot with it, surprisingly. So anyways, I want to start with like, if you guys are familiar with Ethos and kind of what Ethos does, like let's just go to Ethos real quick just to show you. It's a credibility scoring product which helps people understand who's trustworthy and who isn't in Web3. And the way that I see it, we've built an API such that you can basically build anything on top of it. In most cases, the kind of common thing that people do in Ethos is they write a review for someone. So you can see an example here of someone who wrote wrote a review about someone else who's streaming on Abstract, and that actually is a positive review that impacts this person's score. Now, unfortunately for Zoloto23, his score is still questionable because he hasn't really gotten a bunch of activity on his profile yet. But there are lots of really fascinating things that we can actually build on top of this if we wanted to. I'll give you a couple of examples of products that I've built so far. And this was with 100% vibe coding. So anon.ethos.network, which is a product that allows you to submit anonymous reviews. I built this entire thing in like 3 hours. Just to take a step back, as someone who not proficient in code, this would have taken me days or weeks to write. I don't even know some of the technology that's being used when I do write this, which is super cool. But you can see here when I come in here, I can type in things like serpentxbt. It will go out to the Ethos API and pull information in about that particular user from Ethos's API. This is like a very discrete app because all it really does is say like, okay, who do you want to review? Who are you? And what do you want to say? And then it puts that review back on chain. And so what I'm really kind of trying to show you is if you can think of an idea or think of something that you want to build and keep it really simple and minimal, you can actually pretty easy, more easily than you would have thought, vibe code something like this. Another one that I built recently is this idea of validate.ethos.network. And it's this concept of right now, when someone tweets, we listen for tweets where people mention our agent at Ethos Agent. And it actually does this thing where it kind of analyzes the quality of different tweets. What it does is it's actually going back to the Ethos API and saying like, did these people have reviews ever? Like, how reputable are those people? And it gives us this kind of like idea of like how genuine and authentic different types of engagement on Twitter are. So I can go here and look, and you can see here's the recap that Emlo wrote about Ethos, and someone's like, validated this tweet to get that info. I can actually go on Emlo's profile and see, how are his scores changing, things like that. Again, 100% vibe coded. This is like without like there is nothing that I wrote manually code wise to build this thing. And that's kind of crazy in my opinion, considering I've been building like products for probably 13 or 14 years now and have never had this ability to be like this efficient, I guess. And so I kind of think it's the skill that most people should be thinking about, either become great at it or learn how to use it and leverage it to your advantage. So let me think. What was the other one that I wanted to show? Yeah, these are the kind of two ones that I think about. Usually it's like some web app and then something you're trying to do in the back end. Oh, I know the other one that I did. The other one that I did recently, that like basically each of these apps I built in one night. I built another agent for Ethos that basically looks at Twitter. It scrapes information about certain people's tweets, and then it tries to write reviews and push them back to Twitter itself. So if I go back in here into Ethos and I type in, oops, not Telos agent, well, I still got it right. If I jump into Telos agent and look at the reviews that he's given, a lot of people are like pretty critical of Ethos right now and all the AI reviews. So I decided to just go build a literal AI bot that writes reviews. And this bot is just writing on chain and including all of the different information about this user. It's basically looking at a bunch of tweets, analyzing those tweets, and then making reviews for them. And so it is doing everything from like interacting with API-Fi, which is a product that you can use to get Twitter information. It is then taking that information and putting it into a database. And then it is using AI to analyze all of that and then writing back to the blockchain. I've even had success, honestly, with doing things like building trading apps and algorithms through Claude 4. And you'd be amazed at how well it can do at things like creating trading strategies and automatically interacting with the blockchain. You can't see my screen. Okay, well that's good to know. You're not looking at cursor and Telos agent then. I see it in StreamYard, but it looks outdated. Okay, give me 1 second here. Yeah, it's still showing download cursor. Let's try that again. Restart capture. There we go. Okay, it should be working now. Hopefully it's still, yeah, I can see it moving. Okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up. So yeah, uh, I'll go back through just really quickly and show the things that we're working on. Validate.ethos network and on .ethos network. I've been able to basically make these really awesome apps without ever writing any code for them. And I have basically a boilerplate or a set of functions that I kind of want to share with you guys and talk through and explain a little bit about, what do I do to set the framework up to set yourself up for success? How do I think about the different types of what front end do we want to use? What back end do we want to use? Where do we want to deploy it? Like, even if you're sitting there thinking like, what the hell is he talking about? You're going to be fine. We can make it through this. I do need a good idea in terms of what to implement, and because I want to write like kind of an end-to-end project with all of you. And so if you have any ideas or things that you're thinking about, things that we could go build together, again, leveraging Ethos in some way, honestly, I would say like we could basically vibe code anything. The ability to write things like automatically writing reviews, the ability to write to the blockchain, the ability to analyze things with AI or pull data from Twitter. All of these things are technically possible. So if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see me build, drop it in there and we can kind of start together. I'm thinking about a few things that we've had feedback on. So I'm going to go back into Ethos and say, one of the things that someone has built, but would actually be very easy for us to do, and appreciate all the tips. Remember, those are going to charity, which is super sick. That's why we're building it on time.fun, because it allows me to send it to charity. One of the things that we could do that I think is kind of missing in the functionality right now is we have these slashes that happen in the product. I think they're actually pretty helpful to kind of be able to see. Like, one thing that the Ethos basically doesn't do well is it does not show past slashes or like historical slashes. You could still go on someone's profile and you could see if they've been slashed at all, but to be honest, there's not a good historical archive. So there's really simple stuff like we could do something like show past slashes and how many slashes there are and show a list of them, although people have done that in the past. One of the things that I've been thinking about that's kind of a typical like thing that people put pressure on Ethos about is this concept of people reviewing each other. This like review for review concept where it's like, oh, I'm going to write a review for you and you write a review for me. And so another like thing that we could do project wise would be something like, let's just show a list in like a nice web UI of all of the people that have reviewed each other and how many people have gone through this, like who are the like biggest people that have kind of reviewed for reviewed. I think that could be a simple one, but is a little bit more on the contentious side of like might expose some people, and not maybe not super innovative. There are a couple other things that we could think about too, like I've always thought it'd be cool to have some sort of prompt that you could use and just ask anything that you wanted about Ethos data. We could even do stuff like we could try to create our own Chrome extension and load Ethos scores onto time.fun. That could be kind of cool too. So if you have any opinions or thoughts, drop it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to think about, we're just going to create a new project here and get started with it. So let me just make a new project. Fortunately, I'm doxed. I don't give a shit that you see my name. Let's go ahead and set something up, and I would prefer not to do it here. Let's just do it in here. I'm just going to create a new folder called dev where I'll host everything, and we'll do Ethos time fun 1 is the project name that we'll call it. So I am using Cursor again here, and there's a few things. If you're not familiar with Cursor, it is basically how you use AI to write code. It's built on top of VS Code, which is a pretty well distributed and well used product that most devs are using these days to write code. You see up here, this chat is basically exactly how I initiate everything coding wise. It is the kind of like entry point to all conversation. And you'll see on the left hand side, as we talk about and build stuff, it'll kind of populate things on the left side there. The most important thing to remember when you're getting started, I always put it in agent mode, which it looks like it defaults to these days. That means that it can actually do things on its own. It can go run commands. It can debug things better. It can understand a little bit more about like context of things. One of the things that I wrote in my article yesterday is like, try not to be super conscious about cost. I think you'll actually be happier if you don't think about cost. When you're thinking about cost, it's not going to cost you more than $100 to build something, but the efficiency gain that you get is pretty insane, honestly, for doing something like this. And I think it's going to be worth it. So I always tell people, pay for Cursor. Don't worry too much about the cost. I do not suggest putting it in auto mode because the model that you use is very important. I always use Claude for Sonnet. The golden standard beforehand used to be Claude 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.7 came out and it wasn't nearly as good. I don't even see it in here now. And then I would not turn on max mode. Max mode does get pricey. I was just making a point about not spending money, but I always do Claude 4 and put it in agent mode. The other major thing that I tell people is don't worry too much about describing everything you build up front. The way that you should think about it is you're creating a bunch of different kind of building blocks that you want to iteratively put out there, test them and see if they're working, and then confirm that that's working, and then build something on top of that again. So instead of being like, hey, I'm going to try to like explain in like 1,500 million words, this is exactly what we want to build today. It's this product does these beautiful things. Like, everything I've learned about building products in the past has always said, learn by shipping, learn by figuring out how to ship the minimal increment thing, test it, and then move to the next thing. And so I would always try to take that mantra as like how to think about building something here is just find the smallest possible thing to build. I think we should do, I didn't get any recommendations. So I'm going to just do the like review for review identifier product, which the way that I'm kind of imagining it is we'll basically just make like a web UI that allows us to see and look up any particular profile, look at all the reviews they've written and all the reviews they've gotten, and compare that against the number of inbound reviews they've gotten. So thinking about how many times have they reviewed someone and they reviewed them back versus like they had someone externally review them, and that kind of indicates that like maybe they have more real reputation as opposed to just people that are reviewed for reviewing. It's a simple product. It should be a good demo. It'll give us exposure to both building a web app. It'll give us exposure to the Ethos API and how to work with it. And then it will allow us to actually deploy a functioning product that theoretically has value. So what we're going to start with is I usually kind of just outline like, again, you kind of can be vague here. You don't want to give it too much, although we'll try to build a lot. I'm trying to build a new product that identifies when given a specific user, how often that user has reviewed and been reviewed from the same user. That's not super descriptive, but we could roll with it. How often that user has participated in review for review. This is a concept that's native to Ethos, a product that we're going to be integrating with, and is displayed and is explained as the concept of two people reviewing each other. I kind of try to give it some high-level context. Again, I'm not trying to be descriptive about exactly what it should do, rather than giving it general context so it understands how to think about things. So explaining things like, here's what Ethos is, and here's what Ethos does is kind of smart. On Ethos, a user can review anyone else. We can use the Ethos API to search for a particular user and get the results of all of the reviews they've ever written. We'll want to compare that data side by side with any reviews they've received. In the what we're trying, actually, you know what we could do is we could try to do something cool like a graph or something. What I'd like to create is both a list of who that user has reviewed, as well as a graph that shows the I think they call it like the directionality of reviews, shows the relationship of all of that person and all of their reviews. Again, I said we need to start with kind of like just building blocks, but I'm trying to just describe context so it understands where we're going and where we're trying to go, right? Where we're trying to be. What's interesting here is I usually do recommend that people go ahead and describe like what tech stack to use. But what I found Cursor will actually do is it's pretty good at being like, hey, I'll like, whatever is popular right now, TypeScript and Dino and Dino deploy and Fresh, like I'll go build everything with that for you, and you won't even have to know how to ask it. So you can be more prescriptive here with how to actually build it. If you don't know what any of those things mean, you don't even have to say it. I prefer, I'm going to say here, like I would like to use TypeScript, Dino plus Dino deploy and Fresh as the stack. I'm going to describe it this way because I like to use this for how we actually push the code so that it's live. Like Dino and Dino deploy are very easy to use. And so we'll start with something like this. But the last recommendation I always have when you're just getting started is like, let's start with something as simple as possible. Can we display a website with a search bar? We don't need to plug in to the Ethos API yet. We'll solve that later. I just want you to create a site that has a simple search bar. This will be used eventually for searching for profiles on Ethos. Okay, so one of the cool things about, this is my first command. You can see all kinds of things that are happening now. If you use Claude 4, it'll look at and kind of determine what the hell you're actually saying, which is very cool if you want to pay attention to it. One of the interesting things about vibe coding is you don't really have to know everything that's going on over here if you don't want to. It is helpful to read. Honestly, I think we're going to get to a world where you won't have to write code and you won't have to care about how code is written at all. So if you want to learn code, you can, be honest with it, ask it questions, talk through it with it, try to say, why did you do that? Or what the hell is Dino? And it will help you. But I think you can get pretty far without ever having to do that. Is it saying ask every time? Yeah, I want it to auto run every time. So that it just screams. Okay, yeah. So it's like, hey, you don't have Dino. So this is like a fresh system. It is going to basically start installing everything for me, which is very cool. This is the agent mode. This is really what has been unlocked. I'm just going to hit yes here. Set up completion, sure. This is what has been unlocked by Claude 4 and agent mode, and relatively recent, is like it can run commands on your computer. It can install everything that you need it to install. It can basically set all of this stuff up. It's going to ask me if I want a styling library here. We'll use Tailwind because that's a usual thing. And it just asks me if I'm using VS Code. Yes. Again, if you get stuck, you can be like, hey, how should I answer this question? Or why should I answer this question that way? Taking a little bit of shortcuts to just in terms of general knowledge. So what it's going to do, the other cool thing that I always talk about with vibe coding is like, you can let the shit run. Sometimes it'll take 3 minutes, sometimes like 5 minutes, sometimes it'll be 10 minutes. You can do so many things at once, and sometimes I'll even have multiple things going at one time. So as it's kind of installing and setting things up, you can see it's actually writing all of this stuff here. Like it has created a bunch of different files. It's created these components. It is doing all of these things without my help, which was amazing. The next thing that I'm going to pull up over here is developers.ethos.network. And again, you can read all of this stuff, or you can just be like, yep, sounds good. I can see it's working on a search bar. What we're going to want to do when we do our search is we're going to want to basically want to integrate with the Ethos API and bring in that search into this product. The Ethos API is designed to be as easy to use as possible. And what this means is all we really have to do is give it the context, give Cursor the context of the API, and it should be able to either easily interpret it just by reading the docs or test it and make sure that it's working correctly or not correctly. And so, yeah, I mean, you can see like it's written some code here. It already ran into some errors that it's handling itself. One thing that you might see that happen, because it is getting pretty far down this path, is it might be like, hey, we auto stop at 25 commands. That's to prevent it from like spending too much of your money. 25 commands is still cents on the dollar, so I really would not worry about it. But yeah, again, you can see how much it's actually doing here, and I think that's some of the like crazy parts of it. That it's just so cool to see how it all comes together. I am gonna sound stupid here. I don't remember the API v1 being deprecated, although the devs are probably like screaming at me, being like, "Don't share the API." So I'm gonna probably implement this search API because I know that's what I used in my anon review. And what we're gonna do in the product is we're gonna have the user search probably by Twitter name, in my opinion. And it will be like a type ahead where they can select whose profile they want to view more information about review for review in. You can see here, it looks like we're getting pretty close to the end. They're running the server locally. Again, you don't even have to know what any of this means. Like if you've never done coding before, it's actually going to handle most of this stuff for you. So it's definitely starting to get to a point where it's looking like we can test things out. So again, like my iterative process here is you go from like, here's something that I want to build. Here's the first building block. Can we get to that point? And then can we go test it? It's noticing the button component has a minimal style. And I don't know, I didn't give it any idea of a theme to use. I didn't say use Shad CN or anything. I didn't give it any type of theming, but I don't really care about it right now. I'm just trying to like get the point across of what we're trying to do. All right, there you go. It's working on the README file, which explains exactly how it works. To anyone who is terrified that I'm going to show something in the ENV, which I saw like our internal chat worried about, I'm going to move the screen off if you see the ENV files. Don't worry. I'll stay on top of it. Okay, so yeah, like usually this is the message that you're looking for. That was probably like 6 or 7 minutes, honestly. You can see here, it's got all of this information here about exactly what it did. And then it's going to start talking about the next steps that we can do, that we can, the next steps in terms of implementation. So what it's going to tell you here, and it's going to be different every single time depending on what you use to deploy, but it's basically like, hey, you can go run your app now. So this is telling you, if you go to this in your browser, you can see the product we just built. And so boom, like this product right here, 100% vibe coded. This is, I didn't tell it to do anything. It tells you how to search and what to do. The search does not work, and it will probably just say search and do nothing. It gives you some very like simple info at the top, and that's basically it. And so what I think is super cool is like just getting to this point for the majority of like society and the web and everyone, like, this is huge. This is like hours of work if you've never written code before. And now you can basically just take it directly to something like, you could basically just give it to Cursor and it will create something for you. I did something over the weekend that was crazier, and it did way more than I thought it would do. So I like to limit it because I think its scope creeps itself sometimes. So the next kind of thing that I want to be able to do is I want it to have a type ahead here. I want to be able to type in an Ethos username. Well, yeah, let's do a type ahead. So when you type in the Ethos username, you get kind of like a prompt here. And I'll give you an example of what this looks like. I know my screen wasn't showing perfectly earlier, but if I type in like SerpentXBT, which is my Twitter handle, it's doing this search here in this type ahead. It's not letting me select anything yet, but when it loads, and the search API is a little slow. You'll see it gives me kind of a list of people that I can select, and then I select it and it's done. And this is actually going to the Ethos API and saying like, hey, show me who this person is. You know, it's got everything down to like what their score is. I want to do the same thing here. And so what we're going to say next is, okay, now that we have our search bar, we want to actually be able to use the search to find Ethos profiles. We'll search using the Ethos Search API, which is here. So I'm literally going to copy this URL. And when you copy the URL, you'll see it like turn into a blue thing. It will actually go out to that web page and pull that context in. I haven't found it to be perfect though, so I might give it a little bit more instruction, but it's pretty cool to see. So we'll search using the Ethos Search API, and we want to implement it as a type ahead. So when the user starts typing, we'll hit the Search API and find the users and present the users in the list. Oh my gosh! The cool thing about AI is you can typo and it doesn't matter. We'll hit the Search API and find the profiles. Oh no, present the profiles. We'll hit the Search API, present the profiles that Ethos returns to us. I'd like to include info like a small avatar of the user, their profile name, and the reputation score. So I'm kind of trying to get this like very similar to this setup where you type something in and it shows you more info about them. We should block the search button until the user has selected a user from that dropdown. If I go back into the Ethos API now, I should be able to say like, this API endpoint, I might, again, give it some more context just so it knows, like, is the endpoint for this API. I hope that this works. If anyone from the team is listening and this stuff isn't going to work, just let me know in Slack. Because I mean, it's working on the other side, so it has to be working. So this is deprecated. We're migrating to like a V2 of the API, so it'll be updated later. So yeah, we have the search here. Search for users in Ethos. The search looks across everything, so it can handle my Twitter username that I want to pass it. I also will usually copy the response just so that it knows what to expect. Again, it will pull the context in from searching it here, but I'll say like, here is the expected response you can get from the Ethos API. Okay, Ben says it works. For another month, good. And so I kind of give it this additional information. And then I might also add in at the end, like, example of the request can be found here. So yeah, now I'm gonna hit enter. This is like, it's like a small next stepping stone. I'm gonna hit enter here, and it's just gonna start pulling a bunch of information. So what's cool is then when we search this, the next step will basically be, it won't be search, it should be go or open. And then we'll basically go to Ethos and say, okay, show me all of this person's reviews. And then all the reviews that they've gotten and all the reviews that they're giving out. Okay, so as it's doing this, I wanted to look at some of the questions that I had. I'm glad to see some people showing up here. Getting it from 0 to 1 is a huge deal. Getting it as far as you want, it could take forever. Yeah, but I think overlook how many of a time saver it is. Yeah, so 2016, 2017, I was in 2018. I was kind of working in I was a product manager for a couple different platforms where we were trying to help people onboard and build on top of our ecosystem, build on top of our platform. And the like canonical DevRel quote is like time to hello world. Like, how long does it take to go from I have nothing to basically this screen right here, the hello world. And you can see it's actually live updating, which is sick. That time to hello world for a lot of people, if you don't know what you're doing, is like crazy. Anyone in this chat can get to hello world now without knowing how to code. And I think that's a very it's hard to understand how impactful that's going to be for people building stuff in the future. Another place that I think about it that most people aren't thinking about is just in terms of trading. Like, if you go back to like trading NFTs and stuff, like the people who had the best edge with trading NFTs, they were actually the ones that like had code that they wrote for themselves. So they like people making mev bots. And like the barrier of entry to doing something like that was really difficult. And so that's basically nothing now. If you wanted to go write your own mev bot, you could throw it at Cursor and it would do a good job. If you wanted to write your own trading app for waiting for an NFT to get listed at a certain price, sending a transaction for it at 1,000 Gwei so that you could snipe it, you could do that. I guarantee Cursor can handle that. I've thrown blockchain stuff at it in the past and it's worked perfectly. So yeah, let me jump back into this because it looks like it was only a few minutes to actually build it. Again, you're going to see all the stuff. You can read this if you want. I just gloss over it. It gives you some instructions and it's like, all right, go test it out. And you're like, cool. Now this is all refreshed. I'm going to refresh it just in case. But so now this is the classic conundrum with devs is like, is it going to work when I demo it? So I'm going to start. Wow, holy shit, that was fast. Oh, it's searching every time I think it's searching every time I type. But yeah, you can see like I just asked it to do something and it created this search. Like, I can now pick it didn't do a great job because that's not the right Serpin. That's Sketch and that's Ian. Like, not quite correct. I was expecting it to search primarily by Twitter username. And I don't remember if the search has any input for Twitter username. The search looks across everything. So I'm kind of surprised that it did that, but let's just go say that we want to do Sketch. So look, it handled a bunch of stuff for me. I clicked Sketch's name and it's like, cool, you're on Sketch now. Like, with Sketch, go analyze his profile. And so, I mean, I'm assuming nothing is going to happen if I analyze his profile. Yeah, because we haven't built the next building block. But it is pretty damn cool to see that I've built something that is hitting the Ethos API, searching it, and showing and displaying like who that person is. And so now we basically need to go build the next step. We need to say, okay, now when the user selects analyze, we want to replace the content below the analyze profile search bar with a list, with two lists. All reviews that are unarchived that they've sent, and all reviews that are unarchived, meaning like they hadn't deleted them, that are received. Ideally, so like I don't know how to do this particular part with code. So I'm just going to describe what I'm trying to do. Ideally, we can pair up the results such that when a user has given a review and received a review from the same person, they are shown side by side with a green check mark. If if it's a one-sided review, we should show which side. It's kind of hard to type and talk at the same time. We should show which side sent or received it, and not show a green check mark there. At the top of this table, we should show stats about how many reviews given, how many reviews received, and how many of those were reciprocated, where each user reviewed each other. Why am I talking like a robot? Do I sound okay still? Hopefully. Or maybe is my voice is a little nasally because I'm tiny about sick. Okay, so I wanted to do this, but it needs to know how to do it. And what we're going to do is, I've never pulled reviews actually, but we're going to use the V2 of the API. And what we want to do, so this will be good because I don't exactly know how to do this. I don't care about notifications. Activities authored by a specific user. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say, I want to use this V2 of the API. Oh, when I'm typing it, yeah. Yeah, I'm typing as I'm talking. That's good because I was worried that my audio was messed up. I want to use this V2 of the API here, and we can use and I'm just going to copy this again. You don't, I don't know that you have to do this. I just like to do it to be a little bit more explicit with the bot, with the agent. We can use this endpoint to get activities from the profile the user searched. I don't want all activity because all activity is going to be reviews. I don't know if I can remove that via the API. I'm just going to tell it I only care about reviews, so we can ignore all other activity. We can also pull the activity for that user using the get activities where a user is specified subject. So we'll do that. This subject, this API. For getting just the reviews this user has received. So again, I want to create a data visualization for this, but I'm just going to start with a table because a table is way easier to work with. And again, I'm trying to like force myself to think in the sense of like the smallest possible outcome. So I'm gonna hit send on this and see what it does. Now, sometimes you hit send and you're like, God, I have no idea if like if it understood what I'm gonna do. I don't know if it's gonna do way more than I think it's gonna do. I have no idea how to interpret what it's going to do with this yet. But yeah, this activities API is gonna, I can see some things that it might get caught up on. Like we can only pull 1,000 reviews at a time. It might have to handle things like pagination via the API, but sometimes it figures that stuff out for you. And again, like I wouldn't be scared by me saying these things because Cursor can figure it out if you don't know what it is. And so I'm going to let it start doing that on the right side. The other thing that I try not to get caught up on too much early on is like the theme. But this theme is awful, and I hate it so much. I do really like Shad CN for themes lately, although I've had a little bit of trouble getting it to work perfectly. It's like this set of components. I think these look really good. These set of components that are easy to extend. But you can basically be like, hey, I like to use this theme, or like ant design is what we use with Ethos, the main Ethos that you see and know every day. You can decide what kind of like themes and stuff you want to use. I would do that earlier rather than later. If you do it later, you're gonna have to rip out a bunch of code. It's just like refactoring and stuff. But yeah. So, anyways, like I will probably find a way to add a dark mode. I mean, you can see here's one of the things that I added on this one to make a dark mode. It looks a lot better. So let's see what we're doing here. I'm trying to think, do I need to authenticate users? Do I really care about users authenticating themselves to see who has reviewed who? Probably not. Honestly, I think we were probably in a pretty good spot once we have this functionality and we go back and add some of the graphing. I might look up good graphing libraries for showing relationships. My brain always goes to Novo because I think it's Novo. Is that right? Novo charts, Nevo charts. Yeah. Novo is my bank. So there's a bunch of charting libraries out here. This is me trying to optimize my time here, right? Like the agent is off working on the side, and I'm like thinking about the next feature ahead of it. So what we're gonna do here is let's go into Nevo and find a good. These aren't all of the charts. Let me see. I don't want Baroni tessellation. I want, oh, here you go. Yeah, this one. This like network graph. Looks like we're getting close over here. So the network graph can show me things like this node in the middle is like the person you're looking at. And here are all of the like people that you have reviewed. Or that like that person has reviewed, and then we could also show separately like people that have reviewed them but they haven't reviewed back. So in terms of visualization, this could be a pretty cool way of doing it. What was the one? The one that Zeep is using is really cool, and I just asked them what they were using. Cosmograph. I wonder if it'll let me do Cosmograph. I wonder if it's paid because it is really cool. We could use something like I want to do this just generally. Load. Sure. Oh, it can just do anything. Sometimes I look at stuff like this and I'm like, oh God, I have no idea how to implement that. And then you just go back to cursor and you're like, could you implement this for me? And so like I'll try to load one here. Hopefully it doesn't crash my PC. Damn, how old do I sound? My laptop, I don't know, my Mac. So yeah, like this is another really cool visualization product. This would be cool to do. It's really only going to let us see particular users, like because that's what I don't want to do the entire like graph of Ethos, but you can see like how. So, oh, come back here. Right, come back. Why are you going away from me? You pause it. Is it doing time or something? Oh yeah, here you go. Okay, pause. You can see like the clustering, kind of like bubble maps. And you can see how these two things relate to each other. These are just different Bitcoin addresses in the Silk Road case. I think this would be pretty cool. I might try to get it to implement that. So now just going back again, I'm trying to think ahead of myself a little bit. So it says now over here, it's like, hey, we did it. You have all these things. You'll go fetch from the API. One thing that I'll say is like I'm not trying to do this for every user on Ethos because that's hard and expensive computationally. So I'm trying to focus on just I just want to do one user right now. I think it's better to just kind of focus again and just try to find the small stuff again. So let's try Sketch and see if Sketch pulls up now. Maybe I need to refresh. Sketch. Okay. Wow, that was fast. So I'll pull up Sketch and let's click Analyze Profile. All right. Fingers crossed. I don't know how good the vibe coding data is. I don't know why I just pulled it up again. It says it's analyzing. It's not the best user experience, I would say, considering it just says it's analyzing. If I'm thinking about trying to build something that's actually useful, I would probably put a really big loading screen that's like, hey, I would like to know more about what's going on here. I'm cautious about this actually working or not. I have a feeling that it's probably not working considering it's taken so long. So I'm just going to open up and look at a bit of debugging here. This is from pulling this. I don't see. I'm glad it broke because we needed something to like. How the hell do you debug stuff when it breaks? I didn't open the network tab in time, so I'm just going to refresh this and see what happens again. Let's try it with my name. Let's try it with someone that doesn't have a lot of reviews. Yeah, here we go. We'll do Cirque one in at the top. I don't know why it keeps popping that back open. This is a random thing. Okay. I don't know why it's not working, but I'm just going to go back and be like, hey, it's not working. When I click analyze, I'm getting stuck in an analyzing state. I can't see exactly what's going on, and I need to debug it. Can you start outputting console logs so that I can easily debug it? If you write code, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to be able to inspect and read the logs here. I mean, like it says analyzing user, so it did have its own. Oh, it actually looks like a front end thing. I'm going to stop this because I think I have my answer already. You can see it had previously added its own console log here, just something that kind of helps you understand what's going on. I'm literally just going to screenshot this and say, I think I found the error. When we click analyze, we're getting an error around on analyze. Not that. Hold on. How do I take screenshots on this computer? It's like going to my clipboard. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to attach the picture with it. Let's see what it says. I did tell Pedro that he could come up with me, and I didn't give him the thing. Let me see if I can invite him. Invite a guest. All right, let me send this to Pedro real quick. Open my Discord. Okay. All right, Pedro, if you're still around and listening, I just sent you the invite. So it looks like perfect. I can see the error from the screenshot. The issue is that analysis is being passed. And then also like basically it's recognizing that like, oh shit, like things aren't working. I should probably log a little bit more information here. So I'm glad it didn't just work perfectly for us because that's not how coding works. There we go. It's going to give us some, it even tells you like, hey, if you don't know how to debug, like here, hit F12 on your computer, go to console, click the analyze tab and see what happens. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's what I was doing already anyways. I refresh it here. I'm going to type in CircuitXBT one more time. Let's just use Clemente. And then we'll click analyze. Okay, there. You can kind of see now some more information about what happened. And yeah, I mean, like, assume that I don't know anything about it. All right, Pedro's here, so I'm going to bring it up in just a second. Assume I know nothing about it. Let me pop this back into chat again and be like, all right, yo, what the hell? I have no idea what these logs mean. I'm just going to put, it still has logs. It looks like it's erroring. Do you know why? And we're going to let it go while I bring Pedro up. Hey, Pedro.
What's good?
How's it going, man? Thanks for coming up. Sorry, I'm 30 minutes late. I got sucked in.
It's super interesting for everyone.
Are you enjoying the stream of me shit coding over here? Vibe coding, I mean. Sorry.
Oh yeah, after about 5 minutes in, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this, so I'm just gonna keep chatting with everybody.
Are you at least intrigued by the use case of that I'm going after, which is like review for review farmers?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, dude, we've taken so many like vibe coding courses, mandatory stuff. Like, it's just I've done a lot of these, but this is like actually nice to have like a applicable solution, right?
I do think that's really important. If you have an idea for something and you're like, I know what it is, I know what it looks like, I know how to like visualize it, then you can do whatever. You have to have something like that. You can't make it up. If you try to make stuff up and you're like, oh, just like build a hello world or a to-do list thing, you're not going to be passionate or motivated. So I always think that's important to like have something you really want to build. even if it's like a
the
trading
same
bot.
thing. Like to get the most effect out of it, even just like using a ChatGPT text or something, like understanding prompts and knowing where you're trying to go, or else you're just kind of you're not going to go anywhere, and you're going to just rely on them too much.
Totally. And yeah, I mean, have you tried vibe coding at all? Have you jumped in?
Yeah, a little bit, but again, more for like my Web 2 side of us trying to understand different things around Azure, but nothing Web 3 yet. I kind of just rely on my devs because I know they're way smarter than me to do all the coding on that side.
It is interesting. Like I see a world where like non-tech, I mean, you know, the devs are probably cringing right now, but just the idea that like devs could be closer or non-devs could be closer to code. You know, one of the values that it brings for us as a business is like, well, now I'm way deeper in some of the stuff like the API. Like we are effectively selling an API at the end of the day and helping people, you know, go use that API. Well, I'm a hell of a lot closer to the API now because I'm trying to use it. So I think I found a lot of value in staying close to the code through it, and that can always be really beneficial as a team or you know, early startup.
Yeah, definitely. And then Cause definitely is, I'd say, not even just like a vibe coder, like way more advanced than probably the dev side. Obviously not just a full-on dev, but he definitely understands more.
All right, I'm gonna refresh it here. Yeah, one of the things that always is crazy to me is Ben, our CTO. I use the hell out of vibe coding, especially like for fun at night and stuff, and he still somehow has way more cursor like usage than I do. And he has a very like seasoned dev that does not need cursor but knows how to leverage it in the right ways, and if it's good showing of that. All right, let me pull up yours. Let's see how good our search is. I mean, that was fast. Like that is so much faster.
That was a better search than before.
and then it gets messed up. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, analyze profile. Let's see what happens.
If I don't get to 2,000 by the end of the stream, then everything's going to 0.
1834. Is this a show review for reviews?
Yeah. We all know how well 3.3 goes, so yeah, let's keep that trend up.
Let's see what is going on here, because it said analyze profile, then it just kind of like went off. What did it tell me to do something? Refresh the page, click analyze, watch the console. You just see second. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Here's what I saw in the console. Damn it. Cool. Here's what I see. No analyzing happening yet. Have you downloaded Cursor yet? You said you do it at work though, right?
Yeah. Not through Cursor though.
Have you tried to like Claude Code or anything?
I mean, not Claude.
Or you probably use Copilot, I guess. I don't know how good Copilot is at like generating like doing exactly what I'm doing. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I mean, we have something called Azure AI as well that's doing more of the kind of dev side. But yeah, more using those. But yeah, I mean, using competitors should obviously always be a thing to do, so you can see what works, what doesn't work, etc.
I mean, doesn't Microsoft owns like 51% of OpenAI? I thought, right?
Yeah, there's some political stuff going on there.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, like, I mean, it's at some point it's very weird because like Cursor is built on top of VS Code, which I'm sure VS like if you're Microsoft's like, huh.
I mean, there's also weird things because like we own GitHub too, but then like most people use GitHub with AWS, even though like there's always like the kind of political thing of like, oh, you own it, but like how much do you separate it and how much do you try to like not infringe on their revenue model while also trying to boost yours, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I think it is an interesting one where like when you're competing for devs and dev mindshare, you really just have to say, we know people are going to choose whatever the hell they want. They don't have to be like super. They might use Bitbucket instead of GitHub, or they might use GitLab instead of GitHub. And then they might use VS Code, and they might use OpenAI code or something. And
that's the okay. Like you don't want to restrict them to just like funnel them to Azure, for instance, because that could lose revenue. Because then they might just be like, you know, I'm going to use AWS. I'm going to go somewhere else. So that's the balance that we're always dealing with especially our cloud infrastructure.
There we go. Here's our magic moment. It just took a couple times. Oh my god, this stupid! It keeps popping up afterwards. Hold on, let me at least fix that. And then I'm gonna load yours up. The search bar tends to open up again after this analyze is complete. I'm gonna tell it to fix it, just like here. That is kind of annoying because it's in the way right now. Let me just like back it out. So you can see it actually worked perfectly for this. This guy's given 5 reviews. He's received 20, and it did not do what I thought it was going to do. I saw some that were reciprocated that it did not identify as reciprocated.
You think Ben is just smiling now, being like, "Not so easy, huh?"
Probably. No, Ben. I mean, I think Ben vibe codes just as much as I do. I like, we've been trying it out from Slack now, where you can just like in Slack and maybe Teams one day, you can just do like a cursor, like fix this tiny thing, and it's not great yet. But
I like the soft maybe Teams someday.
Yeah, it's just a webhook, right? It should be easy to integrate. Teams.
Yeah. I mean, we're not using Teams. So
Yeah, there you go. You want to know something crazy? I helped launch the first Teams apps on Microsoft Teams. I did not work at Microsoft.
Oh, you mean the apps within? Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the very first 10 apps. This is like 2017. Like I was working at a company that took Slack apps and translated them natively from Slack to Microsoft Teams. And the first 10 Teams apps were all apps that we converted, and they're all long gone.
Expanding your distribution, nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. It says it fixed it. Let's see how well it fixed. Oh, my server's dead. Hold on. Okay, so you're like, wait a second. Like, even if you don't know what is going on right now, you're probably like, what the fuck? You're like, the server stopped working. It just says the site. I'm trying to play idiot here. Again, cursor is so good that it should be able to handle this no problem. Be like, oh, it's because the server's not running, and I need to restart that, and I can actually see the error right here. Oh, see, look, it picked it up. What else are we going to talk about with you, Pedro? How are you feeling today about the streams in general?
I feel really good. I feel like we've been getting good feedback. I feel like we've always been taking the feedback previously, and we have a lot of things to add that are exciting, especially things where like multi-streaming within the app, having holders be able to come up and those cool features. So I'm excited for those to get added.
Yeah.
How's your experience so far?
It's good. I mean, whenever you use the HTTP version of streaming protocol or whatever, it's so easy. I mean, that it's so nice that we have an open standard for that everyone agrees on.
For sure.
I think this is like the most minor thing ever, but like I wish I could just maximize the chat since I don't really care about the live stream version on time.fun. I care about the chat in time.fun.
Yeah.
So I wish I could make that bigger, but
okay, cool. I mean, we're gonna add a lot more kind of customizability. Oh God, why am I blinking on the words?
Yeah, customization.
We're gonna add a lot more of that for you as well. I mean, as you can see, we kind of do that with every product that we have on the platform, right? You can offer as many or as little products as you want. You can offer as many prices or as little as really. That's the whole point of the platform, to kind of enable creators like yourself and founders to just do whatever you want.
Amazing. Well, yeah, you can see here we've got some data in here now, which is good. I don't think it's right. So it says you've given 57 and you've received 100.
I think I'm doing 60 something. Well, actually, you know what? Some of them are vouchers, so this might just be reviews.
It's just reviews, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right then.
Yeah, I can't. So I'm just gonna add one quality of life thing. After the analyze, can we give the user a button that says open an ethos and links to their profile? It is as simple as https app.ethos.network profile x handle. So it'll just add a quick button because I want to actually verify that this stuff is right. But so let's just go into.
It looks right because I think I've given 7 or 8 vouchers.
Let's pull it up. Pedro.
I've gotten.
See what endpoint are we using up here? This thing's slow as hell.
Dude, also that thing is super hard to just find anybody.
I know. We're working on it. Okay, it says you've given 64 and you've received 113. Oh wait, sorry, but just reviews. Yeah. If I filter by reviews, you've given 51, you received 100 reviews. Well, I just refreshed this. I should make that actually like a page. Okay, so 157, right? That's what we said. Well, you might have archived some.
Yeah. maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But let's roll with it and say it's close enough for testing stuff out. I don't believe that you've only had. Yeah, look, you've got some that are coming up as reciprocated, even though they're that aren't coming up as reciprocated, even though they are, right? Like you know this guy and reviewed him.
Who is that?
818.
Oh yeah, I did review him. He was a
Yeah.
friend tech OG.
Yeah, and like you and Ben reviewed each other. So I'm gonna be like, hey, there are cases here that we're identifying. Looks like sometimes we aren't identifying reciprocated reviews, even though it's pretty clear that they were. Any idea why this is? Like, I have no fucking idea. I'll just ask you, Kerr. So you tell me why your shit's not working. But it did show, yeah, you can have this open in Ethos thing now. This button's pretty nice. So that'll help us validate things a little bit more easily. Yeah, I think for this demo, I just want to get this working, and then I want to add this graph to the top. I think that'd be sick. Because the graph.
Are you gonna actually implement this now, or are you just kind of doing?
I'll deploy this. Yeah, I can deploy this. Yeah. I know some people that have been building stuff have tried to build something around this. But yeah, I definitely intend to. Let's see what it says. There are multiple entries for Ben Walther, but they're showing a separate row instead of being paired. Usually key matching logic. That makes sense.
You think that's because of a vouch or something?
No, it's because like Ethos is kind of weird about how we have identities. If you think about like your Ethos identity, it's actually tied to like 3 things, like your Discord identity, your Twitter identity, your you have an Ethos profile ID, whether you know it or not, and then you have a wallet. And our API might be returning like wallet, and we're looking on the other side of that for Twitter username. So I suspect that's what's happening. Is like
Yeah.
But it is interesting that it showed one, like it caught one of them. What I want to do is I actually just want to make this like a stubbed out page so that anyone, like, you could come back to it easily. Because right now it's like it's not like a page.
I mean, we have like I don't know if you've gone to like timecapitalmarkets.com. There we have kind of where you can see all creators,
Where?
earnings that they've had and prices and everything. So we kind of made a separate page for some analytics.
Where's that?
As well. Just do timecapitalmarkets.com.
Time Capital Markets?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So you can kind of type any user that there is and look at what their earnings are, look at how much they've donated, look at what their burn supply is.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the same thing that I'm doing, right? It's
That's why I like
great product. Yeah.
Kind of inspired me to be like, oh yeah, we kind of
do
this already.
You know, market cap of my token's 31K.
You're and it obviously it's a cash, so it's updated slower. Right. But I think you've already made a little over $300 just since you've been streaming.
Nice. That's cool.
Just on trading fees.
No, $300 back to charity.
Yeah. If you have that set to 100%.
I do. Mine's set to 100%.
Yeah, then you're good.
Yeah, I didn't have any intent. I don't want to make money here. I'm trying to teach people things, and I think it's cool that people can speculate on things still. And if I can go back to money, that's a win for everyone, I think.
For sure.
All right, it's going into some shit over here. It's stuck in the mud. Let's see what it does though. What are some other things that you want to see on this page, or what are other things that you think would be helpful beyond just review for review?
That's a good question. It would be interesting to see. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, like bubbles. Could you do like a bubble map type thing where it's like a bubble map of?
This is what I wanted to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask it to implement this once we have good data here.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing that a lot of people have been looking for.
Yeah, and this is the one that Zeet is implementing. I asked their devs today because I was like, yeah, they had like a demo from yesterday, and I'm like, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
So this is the one that they're. Oh yeah, I mean, I had the demo here. Like if you zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Where am I? Damn it. Like bubble map style. Here, let's just refresh this. It takes a while. Oh wait, this fixed it supposedly. But yeah, I want to do something like this. Where you can be like, oh yeah, cool. Like this is a reciprocated vouch, and like then they're probably like, isn't it cool that you can see like distances and stuff in there?
Yeah.
Look how big that cluster is. Feels like I'm playing Agario or something.
Busters when we do this.
Yeah. Okay, so it says it works. Let's try it again. I don't know why my search isn't great, but it's workable right now.
Is the search only search by key, by name or whatever? You should.
Apparently it searches everything.
Well, you should have like your categories and stuff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, look, so there are all the reciprocated ones. It didn't update the count at the top, but it is cool. This looks like it's working now. So if we took a test case of Ben, yeah, it says you guys reviewed each other. Okay, so there's a couple of things. So wait, this says, now I need to think about the context. You gave the review or you received the review? Okay, so you gave a review to AlphaCo and he did not return it. I'm not surprised because Alpha doesn't use it doesn't use Ethos that much.
No.
You gave a review for Frontech. There you go. Now we're talking, right? Okay, so I want to add some really simple details. It looks like the review date is wrong and pulling in the 1970 time. Let me see what else did I want to add. Also the top stats are not correct anymore. 57 given, 100 receive, and only 1 reciprocated. But it's obvious there are many reciprocated. Can we adjust that? So let's see if it can do this, and then I want to see how well it can do with Cosmograph, because I think that would be the cool like way to go out with a bang here. Yeah. And then maybe next time I'll show people how to like deploy it and stuff and get it live, because this is really the first step. Is like, can you get something that is interesting and a working mode
that people would actually use working?
Yeah, totally. Let's see if it. Yeah, sometimes like the date is wrong. Reciprocal count logic needs to be updated. The data formatting will be interesting because sometimes it thinks it's already done. Sometimes it's really good and it'll be like, oh, I'll just like go call the API and see what the date is. This seems like it's kind of guessing at what the date issue is. So let's try it again. Let's do Ben's.
How much are you trying to put in here versus what's on Ethos itself?
I mean, on this, just
things that are like newer, just trying to make it easier for people to navigate. When
I'm just trying to like. I look at these as like jigs. Like if you think about like, God, this is gonna be like a weird analogy, but like, in your garage you have tools and you have jigs, and tools are like, big things that really help you. Like they solve one job. A jig is like something you kind of put together and it helps you do a very like discrete and simple thing. And so all I'm looking at here is I'm trying to find ways to make like little things that we can test out quickly and see if there's value in. And if we're like, hell yeah, this is perfect, this is actually incredibly insightful, then we can go back to the devs and actually build it into the product.
Yeah.
And of course it broke. So, but that's kind of how I look at this with like same thing with anonymous reviews, right? Like, this guy, anonymous reviews. I didn't want to build it completely into the product. I just wanted to build it kind of halfway into the product and see what exactly the response was. And we haven't had an anonymous review in like 3 days or something. So, it doesn't mean that demand's not there, but that was a pretty lightweight way of testing things comparatively to like having the devs build it.
I honestly still need to do that. I don't even know where to look for them. I need to go back and look.
It's just anon.ethos.network.
So I don't just do it from my profile, go to theirs, and then...
Right. Yeah. This is, again, it's kind of like a jig. It's like one of these things to go that's separate, but it is like hosted on Ethos's website and stuff. So, yeah. See, it's kind of guessing. It's like taking shots in the dark here with a timestamp issue. I'm not convinced that it's going to figure this out well, but let's see. Okay, let's try it again. It keeps pulling up Perilous whenever I search Petra, which makes no sense. Okay, cool. There we go. Now it's working, right? So now there's all kinds of stuff you could do with this. Like, okay, you've given 57, 33 of them are reciprocated. Okay, I want to add one more stat, the review farmer stat.
Ooh.
We have 57 given reviews as an example, 100 received reviews. 33 of them are reciprocated. I want to use the number of reviews received. You've got 100 reviews for you.
Were you surprised?
Well, I just like you only gave back 33 of them. Yeah, maybe, kind of.
Because I'm only reviewing people that I actually
right. You're using it authentically.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I'm gonna say I want to use the number of reviews received over the number of reciprocated reviews. Okay, hold on. I'm not gonna prescribe the function. I want you to suggest an algorithm that helps us understand how likely it is that someone spoofed their stats via review for review, aka they only reciprocated reviews as opposed to having lots of external reviews for them. In this example, 33 reciprocated reviews with 100 total received reviews implies that this person actually has some reputation outside of their review for review circle. So yeah, let's see what it recommends. And I bet it'll be pretty interesting. Like I bet, let's see. So it's just going to create a simple score of reciprocal reviews divided by total received reviews times 100. So it's just a percentage.
Yeah, I don't know what else it'll do.
There's a bunch of things you could do, I think.
I mean, you could do like timestamp, like did somebody review within 1 minute?
Right.
But then those are also tough things because like maybe like I've seen a couple people review me and I like forgot about them or like haven't talked about them in a year, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that person. He was cool, and you review him back right away. So then it's like, is that authentic or is that something?
Right.
3-3, let's farm each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of tough. All you're looking for is some signal, right? Like if someone does it constantly, then
I'm positive. Yeah.
So like let's pull up someone.
I mean, we talked about that too before, and I know you said you're trying to make Ethos a one-stop shop, but like how I'll cross-reference when somebody reaches out, like Cato Smart followers, and then I'll look at their Ethos score, and I'll also look at a couple other metrics just to kind of see if they're legitimate.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, nothing's going to be perfect.
So let's just like click around and play with it, right? Like this person right now is getting slashed for review farming, basically.
So what it's
like Jocelyn Dana loves the sign with the sign glasses. They've got a lot of reciprocated reviews, it seems. And if you go look at they've given 57 reviews. Let's just look reviews. And they received 65. No, they've given 65, they received 57. So they're getting slashed basically right now for being a review farmer. Well, let's go look at it. They've given 66, they received 50, 53 of them are reciprocated. So that's 76% farming score, right? It's just like, it's easy to jump into the data and be like, oh, this person is guilty, right? Like, we don't know that yet. Say that again.
Should we all go slash them now?
Yeah, they're being slashed right now. That's what I was saying. Let's take this other person that had reviewed this person and be like, wait a second. Same thing. 100 reviews given, 100 received. Oh, yeah. So 71 of their reviews are reciprocated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's still people in there that are reviewing them. Like, I don't know who these people are, to be honest, but it's not all reciprocated.
What's your like?
Yeah, let's do it. It's bugging me that these aren't like individual pages and I have to keep searching. Why does the search do that? There we go. Yeah, analyze.
You're at the top this time.
There you go. Look at that. What a champ. It's not right. It's topping out at 100. Okay, So let's do two things. So 2 quick changes. It seems like the API is limiting us to pulling 100 reviews at a time. Can we pull in more reviews? And then every time we're searching, I'd prefer that it takes the user to a page that's easy to share a link to. As an example, we should have a /profile /x handle page that it takes the user to that analyzes and produces stats for, so that we have easier sharing. So this one might take a little bit, but I do think that's pretty interesting so far. Like, let me think. Does anyone else come to mind for you of like someone that's
From sketchy? Let's go to Vera.
Vera, okay. Oh, ooh. Vera's in the chat, I think. This would be really
cool. I invited Vera. She's like one of my best friends.
Wait, where's Vera on?
Vera?
Dude, who runs this?
You're like, who at my company is doing it?
It's okay. We have someone literally working on it. Okay, so we'll take Vera. And I don't know if it'll let me. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. It's still trying to rewrite stuff at the same time, so it's going to fuck with it a little bit. Okay, low risk on farming score. This is like the simplest, just to be clear, this is like the simplest stat ever. It doesn't mean anything. We don't know anything yet.
Vera, put it in your bio right now.
38% farming score in your bio. But that's kind of cool to see, right? You could just, and actually the dates look right. But like, yeah, as a quick example, you know, another thing that we could do that would be easy would be like, let's just show the time difference between each review. Right? Like that could go into the algorithm.
Yeah, that would actually be a huge one, because especially the farmers will like, you know, like post in a chat and then like 100 people come flooding within 2 hours, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, so I can ask it to calculate the time difference in hours between given and received and add that as a column here.
Yeah.
So it's still loading this here. You can see how this is fun, right? Like you get into this thing and you're like, this is a video game. Like I'm just like building blocks together and creating something.
One of my jobs that I had 3 years ago was leading like the creation of one of our analytics dashboards. And that was like the most fun I've ever had, because it was just like constantly like, let's add this, let's add this, let's add
totally.
this. Let's add this.
Yeah, and I think when you have a lot of context, you're like, wait, I could solve this problem. And you're like, I don't even have to know how to write the code to solve this problem. It just solves it for me. It's
yeah.
All right, looks like it might be working now. Let's try it again. Oh. Did my search break? Oh, it's dead. Hold on. Looks like it died.
Again?
Yeah, it just didn't get the server right. Looks like it died. I mean, like, I will say shit like this to it all the time. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I think it died. Yeah, server died. It's like, all right, I'll pick myself back up. But yeah, I think the time difference could be really interesting, and it could go into the likelihood of farmer stat of like, you could do some sort of time decay. Like, if it happened on the same.
You have X API like built in. Would you have all the X stats like follower timing as well?
We do now on Ethos. We decided to finally pay X for that. I can't do that in this app, but
that's another interesting one that I was thinking about, because I saw you and me talked about this on the side. Like there's accounts that like had 1,000 followers, and then 2 weeks into Ethos had 20,000 followers, and clearly like were like boosting themselves up not only with X followers but also with Ethos reviews.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, that's the like, that would be interesting, right? The like, does this person actually even follow that person?
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't,
or have they only followed each other in the last 2 days since they knew each other?
Yeah, totally. Oh, come on.
We do still get some of that signals just by their actual reviews. Like I'll get so many reviews. That'll be like, I don't know this person, but they seem legit. And you're like, why are you reviewing that?
Right. Yeah, my favorite is always to just go look at like new here. You're like, okay, what did someone write in the last minute? 12's like, oh, Carpenter's on. There you go. Dang, there's a lot of reviews going on in a minute here. Yeah, okay. But like, yeah, to be honest, I hope this person's not watching the stream. But like, calm, sharp-minded force in Web3. Blending calculated moves with genuine positivity and warmth. Always uplift. I mean, you're just like...
Yeah.
Do you think that is awesome? Do you think they really wrote that?
No, but I have seen worse AI ones where you're like seeing the ads put in there. It's like, ads account is known for being whatever. You're like, all right.
Yeah, it's when it starts with the ads that it's
hilarious.
Yeah.
So you could just delete that part. Like it takes 1 second if you're gonna try to do this.
Right. Yeah, if you're not doing that, but yeah, I mean, like look at this. Like this person hasn't.
Well, are you guys gonna do anything about those accounts other than like the slashing stuff when it comes to like?
I mean, the whole point of the product is like the mechanism should help solve it, and if they're not solving
when
it
it comes
now,
to XP though.
Yeah, I mean those guys get nothing for XP.
Yeah, because I was gonna say with ours, when obviously we have points in ours as well, and one of our things is like, yeah, you might see X amount of points on there, but you might not see anything by the end of it because we're checking everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of manual stuff on our end, but like if you're just writing reviews, you're not going to be very happy with your XP. That's for sure. All right, it says that it's working. Oh yeah, like close. It has the profile now, but didn't pull it in correctly. Let's see. Man, we're so close with that one too. Okay. Oh no, that's not what I want. Let's use yours again. The search is driving me nuts, but it'll work for now. Yeah. Okay. We're getting this error. Let's see though. Did it tell me why we're running into this? Oh, it just says error fetching data.
Just hard refresh.
No, I did that. It looks
that's my dev skills.
Yeah. Did you hard refresh?
Did you hard refresh?
On the new profile pages, I'm getting this error. No, not Vera's name. I pasted it as the image. Even though the URL structure looks correct. Man, I really want to get. I love getting to the point where like it's so cool, and I really feel like we're close. I want to get the like cosmograph thing in there. But I just now I'm like fixated on these two new things, which is the I want to also show the time stamp, the time difference, because I think that would be pretty.
That is a huge, that's gonna be a huge indicator for me.
Because we could also add something that's like, okay, now go through all of these people and like identify the people that are at like the top of the leaderboard or the bottom of the leaderboard.
Is it also? I know you built in. Did you just plug in connect to Discord, or do you actually have read permissions there?
With our Discord app?
Yeah.
I mean, that was another thing that I just vibe coded here. Basically, it's like anyone can use the Discord app, but our Discord app is kind of custom tailored to our Discord. Actually, I'm not sure what question you're actually asking, to be honest.
Oh, I meant if you could read like
Discord information. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Like if I'm in the same Discord as you, or like X followers.
We can't do that. Yeah. Okay. We don't ask for permission to see what Discord servers you're in.
Gotcha.
We just know who you are on Discord.
Yeah. Because if you knew the servers, then that could be another note of like, okay, sure, they only follow each other on X for a couple of days, but maybe they've been in a Discord for a year together, or maybe that you can see that Discord channel is kind of like the cabal that they're pushing each other away or whatever.
Right. Okay, now it's working. Okay, let's give it the one other thing, which is, I always take screenshots just because it makes it easier, but can we add a column that shows the time distance, or the time amount between review given and received? It should be like the absolute value, because we don't need negative, to show the user how close the two reviews were if they were reciprocated. God damn, can't spell with this shit. Again, fortunately, AI does not care if you can spell or not. Also, like, it would be cool. This would be so easy to add, but like these should all be links, so that I could just like go to Ben's from yours. Oh, look, it already did it. No, it didn't do it yet. But yeah, then we could add that to the farming score of like, oh, this person, they have like all of their reviews are within very short time frames.
For sure.
None of them are. Yeah.
That's what I was mostly interested in, like the bubble graphs of not only seeing who's connected with each other, but if you had a bubble graph of
the bubble graph would also help with that. We could show that as part of the information.
Yeah.
Come on, cursor. We want to see this data. I got to see how much of a farmer Pedro is.
Dude, the best.
There it
I
goes.
was such a good farmer on Frontech, as you know.
I think I have screenshots of my friend wallet with a stupid amount of friend that would be worthless today.
I think I had like 650,000.
Really?
Yeah.
When it was like $3. Yeah.
And then it all just went to nothing. The biggest issue for me was it's more of a skill issue. Like when I got my airdrop, if I would have sold, I would have been up considerably in my total Frontech experience. But because I didn't, and every time I went down, I kept DCAing. It just became a fucking clusterfuck. Like,
totally. Yeah. I think why does it say no time gap? Maybe because it's received.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So it already color coded.
We talked about this though. Like the reason Ethos and time.fun pretty much were created was because of Frontech. So
right, yeah, it's true. Dang, you were writing reviews 14 minutes after Elena wrote your review? That's not even close to being right. Come on, cursor. Look at that.
I mean, I might have just seen her review.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's right. You're like, so then again, it's junior dev, so we'll just ask it one more time and be like, I did see that it tried to color code it. I don't think it's accurate. In these examples, there is no time gap for some, and others are showing things like 14 minutes when they are obviously 5 days apart.
Has she used the platform since the whole big controversy or whatever?
Let's go check. That was when that like group of people was really big on.
Yeah, there was like a little swarm.
Yeah. Oh damn it! I don't remember what her name. Man, we really gotta fix our search. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I know, dude. I put in Fern, Fern.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Find him. He's gone.
Yeah. Oh my god! Now it's getting worse. It's like 2 minutes.
Damn, I'm the best farmer.
A day. That's so funny. It's not even close. Yeah, it's showing 19 and 18 1 day apart, but showing no time. Elena is showing 5 days apart, but 14 minutes. The logic for when show a time gap is wrong. The date parsing is wrong. Let's try to fix. Oh, it says it's fixed. I don't think it's fixed.
Yeah, no, definitely
not. But yeah, I mean, this is where it can get fun. You're like, no, it does not appear to be accurate still. I see several cases of multiple days apart and showing minutes. Let's see what it can do. Oh yeah, I was going to try to pull up Elena's.
So I went to her review. This is the issue too, and I think it was before when like upvoting and downvoting gave you more, but like she'll even just give like a review to somebody of like, oh, smart, talented artist, I've met them, blah, blah, blah. It's got -4. It's like, you were just like, fuck you.
Is she giving reviews? No, she's getting them. Random person without a profile. Impactful.
Well, I was referring to the one that she gave recently, or the last one she gave. When I say recently, I don't think she's done it
3 months ago. Yeah, she has not come back.
Smart and talented artist one. It's like, why is there 4 downvotes?
All of them are, yeah. I mean, Stay Cooking is not necessarily the best to vouch out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. She kind of gave up. I mean, she's been slashed. I don't remember what did she get? How much did she get slashed for? 150.
Yeah, it was a big one.
She earned it all back.
That was like one of the bigger notable ones because it was like her beanie. And there's like one more at the time that was like not the low hanging fruit where people were like, I'm gonna slash Kevin Rose.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was like Abby did like 3 in a row, I think.
Yeah. I was like, who are they? I'm gonna slash Mario, Kevin Rose.
Yeah. Like, who is this Fred guy? XBT Fred? I don't know what is.
Dude, he's more reputable than me.
Yeah, what are you doing, man? All right, do you think it fixed it this time? Come on. Oh, there we go. That's right now. Nice.
Is it?
Yeah, so this is saying for 2 months difference. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask it to incorporate somehow into the farming square. Let's do the graph and we'll call it a day.
Nice.
I want you to integrate the time gap between reviews into the farming score somehow. In the event someone reviewed each other in a very short period of time, like within 30 minutes, it should count as a heavy. I mean, it's so tough because, like, is it a heavy penalty? Not really. Like,
Because
it should count as
it should be like the number of times you've done it versus not.
right.
The
right.
likelihood that you will have responded that often
Right.
is kind of a clear signal of some bullshit.
Right.
But yeah, like I could be on my phone and then a notification comes up and I'm like, oh
Right.
shit, there been
Totally.
review.
Yeah, totally. We want to make sure that we're not punishing authentic activity.
You can just do like an if greater than 5 or something.
Right. Yeah. Or the number of reciprocations.
Yeah. If there's 5 more, is there 5 or more under
how often? Yeah.
30 minutes or something, you know?
Yeah. They're reciprocating reviews under a short period of time. One here or there is. I'm gonna try to be not prescriptive. One here or there is fine, but if they've done it multiple times under, say, 30 minutes, that should be calculated into their farming score. Let's just see what it comes up with. Because, I mean, I found that the algorithm sometimes, like, you can think of all as much as you want about algorithms and how to implement things, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, yeah, this thing had a way better idea. But it's going to count suspicious reciprocations under 30 minutes. It's going to weight them into the score. It's going to keep the ratio, multiple quick, coordinated behavior. So let's see what it decides to do. And then, has this guy used the product since then? 9 minutes ago. There you go, Fred.
Dude, Fred's your power using. You're just disrespecting his name.
You got 28. That's crazy. He hadn't used the product in a month, and he came back 9 minutes ago.
Yeah, dude,
he's watching the stream.
Somebody messaging, yo, Fred, get out here.
His ears are burning. It's so funny. Yeah, like we could look up hobbies. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the most obvious examples. I feel like okay, here we go. So here's what it came up with. Reciprocal reviews divided by total received times 100. So if you have 1, there's no penalty. If you have 2, you get a little bit of a penalty. If you get 3 or 4, a little bit more. And if you get 5, you get 20. The only thing that I would say is like, let's not do it.
Increase the ranges.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like 10 is the red, like 7 to 9 is the orange or whatever.
Yeah, I want to make it based on the population of reciprocated vouchers. Reviews. Because like I don't want it to be like 5 if they've done 100, right?
That's true.
As the denominator. Let's go look at this guy real quick. This is cool. I feel like this has actually turned into something that like people want to see. So I'm glad we. Oh, look at this. There you go. 22 quick reciprocations under 30 minutes. 100% farming score.
That's amazing. All right, go to mine.
Let's see.
If they cook me, I'm.
Yeah, you're like, we're changing the algorithm. You've only had 2 within 30 minutes. I mean but that's like normal behavior, right?
Yeah,
like I don't think it's that crazy. It's the.
That's what I was gonna say. I've seen like a couple times where I hit the notifications button and it'll be like 7 minutes ago, this guy, and I'm like, oh shit,
right.
you know.
Let's check out Soda Power. Okay, 6 quick. Like, this is where it's like you can look at your own. It's data is so tough sometimes because you can get misguided by whatever you want to see in the data.
Yeah, and that's what I was referring to, and hopefully Ethos ends up being the end all be all. But it's never going to be that the Ethos credibility score ends up being the end all be all. It's just one input in things you should consider. Like I was mentioning with the Cato Smart followers. Like if I go to Cato and see somebody has 40,000 Twitter followers and 50 smart followers, immediately I could already be like, all right, this person's probably full of shit, but then I can still kind of cross-reference, Ethos credibility and see how many reviews they got and see the time. Like all these things are factors.
Right.
Are you going to do some sort of smart follower type thing?
Yeah, we're working on that now. It's not smart followers, so it's just reputable followers.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're going to directly link it to the credibility score.
Yeah. So it'd be like, how many followers does this person have or how many reputable followers does this person have? And I actually think it will help us normalize the data a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like someone like Kobe would have way more reputable followers than I would, or anyone that's like currently exemplary would. And like Pigs as an example, I don't know how many reputable followers you'd have, but like I think it would be pretty insightful. So
yeah.
I was gonna pull up whatever, man. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, like, not the like highest risk, but it's cool that like it added this little detail at the top, and I didn't even tell it to.
Yeah. It kind of knew that this is the score you're looking for in the end. So it's
Okay, I'm gonna make 2 quick changes. Can we force this to be dark mode, and then on the review relationships table, can we link to each of those users' profiles? In our app, just to make it easier.
Do you think Ethos will always have its own metrics that you're going to use, or do you think you'll ever bring in those?
I don't know, man.
Followers, for instance.
It's really tough. So smart followers is paid on Kaido's end, which makes it kind of tough too.
So you don't actually know what it goes into, and like you want to put that as a thing you vouch for.
Right. I think if you look at our strategy so far, everything has been about data instrumentation. We're instrumenting our own data, right? Like it's people writing their own trust things, and we're looking at that trust and we're saying, okay, yeah, like this person has 100 reviews. We depend on basically nothing else besides how old your Twitter account is, which counts for nothing, and how old your ETH account is, which also counts for basically nothing.
Why do you? Okay, that's what I was going to actually ask you. Like, why? I guess the rest of the things are on chain, even if you cover the gas. So I think I've answered my question already. I was going to say, why Wallet Connect?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just hard to tell if someone is like truly credible or not. Here we go. We're starting to get some dark mode here.
The thing with Wallet Connect though is like you're adding such a low amount of credibility towards it. I think it's 5 points, right?
Yeah.
That like it's almost nothing, and it's almost like an additional barrier that's being added versus just generating a new wallet for somebody. Like,
well, that's where
connect their X account.
I actually do think there's a world where we should be nerfing people for connecting fresh wallets. Like it's like connecting.
What's cool about that though is like people don't want to connect their biggest wallets with their most
right
to things.
But now we have the ability to delegate to your wallet, so you can still show ownership without actually connecting it. Like you can connect it to Ethos by delegating, and then it doesn't actually like connect your wallet to potentially compromise your wallet. So
that is, and maybe I'm just thinking about this from like the Web 2 mindset because that's all we talk about at time.fun. I want to make it easier for them, but if we are going to eventually expand to non-crypto native people, the barrier of having them learn about like what even a wallet is so high versus just being like, hey, you can connect your X account and then see people review you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that I kind of want to do from like the perspective of a Ethereum address and Solana address too. I don't know. I just need to think about it more. It's just hard to say like that person is definitely credible because of anything they've done on chain. I don't know.
Yeah. The on-chain thing though, the main reason I connected my Friend Tech account was because I was like, oh, is this shit like analyzing that I didn't rug people?
Right. Yeah, we could have. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. We could have technically.
Yeah, that's what I would have loved to see. But then that's also hard too because like there's people like God, what was that guy's name who like said he wasn't going to dump and everyone got all mad? Yeah, like Root, for instance, like I sold him before he sold me,
Mm-hmm.
but because I saw him sell like 12 people in a row in a second,
Right.
I was like, I got a front run to get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do we account for like that? That's where like more complexities of like almost like if statements are gonna
Yeah,
have
it's
to
just
come in.
so hard to like pull that. That's why we have created Ethos, is like I wanted the direct way to measure that as opposed to like indirectly trying to discern that from other data. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's tough with the additional context of everything.
Yeah. Man, it's taking his time putting us in dark mode here. I thought it'd be faster at this.
All right, I got like 3 minutes left, by the way.
Okay, yeah, no problem. We might end it here, and I still want to add I'm going to try to get Cosmograph in it.
I mean, you can keep going. You were going
I'm
for
going to keep going. Yeah. I'm going to keep going and get that, and then because it'll make a cool kind of like story to go tell of like, hey, I'm very glad that everyone showed up. I appreciate Cos and all the people tipping. I think that's super cool, and like I think it's a cool narrative to go back to Twitter and be like, look at what we made basically in 2 hours.
Yeah.
As a stream, because what I want to do these, and I want people to tell me what to build. Right, like let's go build it together, let's go build something together, we can learn how to vibe code together, and I think it'll be really powerful.
I think the cool thing about our platform, not to show at the end when we're going in, is like you obviously have chat, which is available in most live streams, pretty much every live stream, right? But you'll be able to bring up people, like if you have like top holders or somebody do a certain amount, you can bring them up, and then they can start asking you questions like in live real time instead of having to be like an actual streamer,
Totally.
whatever.
Yeah,
That'll be really cool for these kind of vibe code sessions.
Yeah, and again, I do think there's something really cool and compelling about the idea of having people be able to speculate on that stuff, even though I'm not like directly facilitating, endorsing it. The narrative, the thing, the parallel I drew was like, you don't like the NFL does not like lean into like sports betting and that side is speculating, but the NFL still exists for entertainment purposes and people can still speculate on it. And that's kind of how I look at the stream.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, I gotta hop. I'm gonna. I'll follow the rest of the recording after, so I can see this.
I will. I will share what it looks like later. I think we probably only got 15 minutes left, so thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Later.
If anyone else happens to be still here, I have no idea how many people are even in the chat. So, if you want to come up and hang out, I'd be happy to have you. Just DM me on Twitter or Discord or something. But I don't think we have too much left to do here. I just want to. What is it complaining about? The dark mode is working beautifully. I mean, I guess it's okay. Okay, so the last thing that I really want to do here, and then next time I'll talk about how to deploy it. Although it's not hard, I might deploy it anyways. Let's. I want to integrate a graphing library called Cosmograph. So this is definitely going to be a little bit of a reach. I wonder how well it's going to do with implementing it. I don't know how to implement it. I've never even known about it until today. You can find the docs here. I would like you to add it to the top of the profile page for each user so that we can see the relationship of reciprocated versus non-reciprocated dodges. So that's all I'm sending it. I have no idea if it's going to do this or not. I'm also going to like sign up for Dino to play in the background. So Dino is, that's right. This feels wrong. Dino deploy. This is the product that we use to get it to a hostable place where like people can actually go use the product. I'm gonna come over here into the other screen while this is working and create an account on GitHub. Maybe I'll just sign in. 1 second here. Still loading. It looks like it's getting all of this stuff from Cosmograph. I guess it has the React app and everything, which is great. Let's see here. I'm gonna go log in off screen. Um, there we go. Okay, just log in on mobile. I'm going to create a repository for us. So we're going to use get git to store everything. Oh yeah, I'm already signed in here. I'm going to put it under not this one. Yeah, we'll do new project. I'm not going to show this just because it has a little bit of sensitive stuff from Ethos. So I'm going to create a new repository. I'm going to call this, I'm just going to put it in trust ethos. Ethos-R4R is what I'll call my repository. I'm just creating off-screen a repository. It's a little bit sensitive information. I don't want to make a mistake here. Review for review product demo. I'm going to create my repository. Once I feel confident, I'll be able to, share that. Okay, so looks like it's working. It says it's working. I don't believe it. It's trying to hit its own website. Let's see. If it does this in one go, I'll be shocked. It'd be crazy. Try should give me a warning. Let's see. Is it working perfectly? You say it is. I don't believe you. Let's stop doing this so that it doesn't get too messed up. Excellent. The application is working perfectly. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so let's give it a try now. Let's do Pedro again. Pedro founder. Well, I said that. Let's just go back to one of these pages. I'll show you a little bit what it looks like here in Dino deploy. So I created a new repository in our repo. I can't load all this stuff up yet because I haven't deployed it on Git, but it will walk me through all of these things. And this is basically how I'm going to be submitting this and making it publicly available on Dino. Looks like we're still having issues here. So it didn't quite get it on the first go. I'm going to send it this screenshot and say, hey, what the hell? Looks like we're still having some issues. Maybe with course. That's weird. So I just sent it again. Whenever things fail, I tend to go for the take a screenshot of the errors and let's see if it can figure it out. Oh, it just removed Cosmograph React. Simpler. Oh, it's not going to use Cosmograph. Okay, well we'll use D3. I'll try to do something crazy with Cosmograph later. Cosmograph has compatibility issues in this environment. Okay, so that makes sense. Let's let it load here. I'm trying to think if we have anything else. I guess it's going to make its own D3 graph, D3 network graphs. Let's see what we're going to be able to get. Yeah, I mean, this will probably work just fine. Let's see if we can see an example. This was definitely a stretch goal, to be honest. Why does it have an ad on here? Yeah, so we'll be able to make a graph with D3. It's not interactive. I'm actually just going to stop this. I'm going to say, you know what, it's fine. We don't need to do that. I'm going to restore it, which is a good one to learn too, and just go back to the back to where I was before. Let's not do this. So I'm going to push everything back to Cosmograph, to before Cosmograph. This will basically get rid of all of the recent changes we had. And the last bit that I'm really going to do here is like, okay, I'm ready to publish this to a remote Git branch and eventually onto Dino deploy. So I'm going to give it the, so here's my repo that I have here. It's an empty repo that's just called Ethos R for R. It has nothing in it. So I'm going to tell it you can publish to this Git remote. And it should, oh, I've hit a limit. No way. Well, yeah, put money in the clicker. It's not $250 of what I've spent so far. That's actually crazy. I've never hit a limit before. I have not spent $250. I've probably spent about, I'd guess like 10 or 15 bucks on this so far. Again, it's like a crazy operational efficiency, so I'm happy to pay it every single time. That's funny that I hit it right as we were trying to deploy though. We are going to get this thing deployed, hopefully. It's going to add get here, and you should be able to see it show up eventually. I'm actually going to make this, just pull this over here and make sure. I'm going to make it public because I don't give a crap about anyone seeing it. What are the settings for that? Change the visibility here. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to make this repository public. Make it public. Cool. So now anyone will be able to go see that repository. So it's not really sensitive information anymore. Looks like it's still working over here. I just added a get ignore. This is all kind of like the last end process. The really, again, my goal here, what I'm trying to do is bring this and push it onto becoming a real live app that other people can go use. Just going to add a few things here. It's going to commit the code. And then all we'll have to do from committing the code is connecting that to Dino deploy, and we'll have a fully working app. Okay, let's sign in with GitHub. Oh, nice. Thank you for sharing this code. Oh my God. Fortunately, the code is one time. And it will expire in 20 seconds. Okay. So now in GitHub, I should be able to see this. Here's my code. It actually wrote all this cool stuff that explains exactly how it is. Here's the readme.md. Talks about all the files in there. It doesn't talk about all the other things that we want to do. It's kind of cool. It adds a full roadmap and everything. So now in Dino deploy, I am going to, let me just select the project again. I'm going to refresh this off screen. Trust Ethos, and we'll do R for R. So you can see I've selected, this is the repository from here that we're using. I'm going to let it set it up completely. I don't think I need to even set anything because we use Fresh, which is very compatible with Dino. I'm going to click deploy, and it should start sending. Basically, everything that we're doing so far is in localhost. So like I could access it, but no one on the internet could access it. Now it's going to use a set of GitHub actions to actually go deploy this code. You can see it's going to build here. It shouldn't take long because Dino and Dino deploy and Fresh and everything are very, very quick. And we should be able to wrap this thing up with a site that I will be able to share out with the tweet at the end of this, which is very cool. I don't know how well it's going to scale. It could die the second anyone tries to do anything with it. Let's see. Come on, man. You can go fast. Let's see what else it told me over here. Nothing too crazy. Just do exactly what it is. Again, if you don't know any of the things that I'm saying and what they mean, you can always read through this. I tend to skip over a lot of this stuff just because it goes so quickly. Yeah, let's Come on, man. Let's get this build going. 57 seconds. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would have. Oh, there it goes. It's already deploying. I will share this link out. You can also go look at the code if you want to. Just put it in the chat here. Come on. I'm trying to think if there anything else that I was really trying to do here with this. I mean, I want to add that graph. It does look like now we have the ability to switch between profiles, which is very cool. I can go into someone like Safzy and see. Ooh, he's got a lot of reviews, so it's taking a while to load here. Might have broken it too. Yeah, so Safzy's got a 55% farming score, 33 quick reciprocations. You can say what you want about that. I don't exactly know what that means yet. We're still trying to understand more about what these numbers mean. We don't really know it yet. But yeah, so now like my code has gone from being just on my computer to actually being here on the internet. So now any of you in the chat can actually go check this out. I'm going to pop this into the chat and play around with it, which is very cool. Next steps would be stuff like, do I want to put it on a custom domain? And you can do all of that stuff in Dino deploy very easily. But it's very cool that now we have a fully working app where I think I might fix some of the search and stuff. It might help a little bit. And I'm going to come back and add some of the charts and things, but very cool to see how this has kind of come together, and really hopeful that this has given people kind of the opportunity to get a little bit more insight into how I vibe code, how you can take something that you want to solve and turn it into something that is actually functioning code that you guys can go use now. So I'm going to keep doing this. I like doing it. I want to teach people how they can build things on Ethos overall. And so hopefully this was helpful for you if you're thinking about building on something on Ethos, if you're thinking about even just building something in general. Like really all you have to do is put your mind to it, and Cursor can help you do everything else. So thanks to everyone for showing up today and being a part of it. And yeah, I'm going to go write a tweet. I'll share out the recording of this too and put it on YouTube or something so other people can see. But yeah, thanks for showing up today. Hopefully this was fun, and I'll see you guys around.